I
Sorry for
Sahil.
the delay and cheers on the coffee. Cheers, cheers.
Ooh, he likes that
This
stuff.
is my sweet little coffee cup that I can laugh at while having coffee from. This is before coffee and this is after coffee.
Oh God, Sahil, it's good to see you. It's been a while.
Very, very long time. What's the haps?
What's the haps? Well, the world is burning. Some people are dying. Just the
hmm
usual. Another day.
hmm
Whew.
Not some, a lot, unfortunately.
I guess I just say that to feel better myself. I mean, trying to cope up with all of that is happening. Okay, a little background. Coffee with Creators is happening because I, as a creator, am sitting wondering what is okay, what is not okay to post anymore. How do you cope with all the news that's overwhelming us? Where is the line between privilege and insensitivity? Where is our right at being content creators to put a smile on people's face, and how can we do that responsibly, and at the same time how can we do it without not offending someone who's probably lost a dear one? A lot to talk about, but first let me introduce Sahil to you. He's a funny guy with a whole lot of heart, like so much heart that he makes up at least 10 people's hearts, and at the same time he's equally sensitive, and he is the dog father. I don't know why Elon Musk calls himself the dog father, but he is the dog father of all goodest boys of Bombay. The amount of work he does for stray dogs, stray cats, all animals, the whole adopt don't shop, which I agree with. So yay.
Hey, what's up?
Uh,
And also, hi to everybody who is saying hi, hello. Everyone is one guy randomly was yelled "Bulla," so yeah, welcome. And everyone is saying hi, hello. So hi, hello to everybody who is watching this live. We really hope. I'm gonna try not to keep it too like silly and like focus. Be a little serious for the next hour. By serious means it's never going to be, but still, nevertheless, let us start off on that note. So yeah,
okay, let's just start at the very basic. You're a comedian
yeah,
right now, and
yeah.
how did you start? Let's just start with the very basics. How did you start? How did you know you were going to be a comedian? At what point? Why are you laughing?
Yeah, just
Are you
get to
about to
the.
cry?
Everyone knows this is such a like. All right, so Sahil, when did you realize that this was going to be your calling in life? And then you're sitting with like a notepad and writing stuff and all. I've answered this way too many times, but I've always, the long story short for everybody is that my dad is super funny. I've always wanted to be like him, and I was desperate for attention. In college, I was like, okay, you know what? This is something I want to like. I like making jokes. I was hosting events. I was performing on stage, and then open mics started, and I started performing at open mics. And the first one that I did was amazing, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And the day I started getting money, I'm like, not bad. I'm getting money for making people laugh. Okay, then let's do it. And honestly, at the end of the day, like I was having this conversation, and I'll come back to what exactly we're talking right now. At the end of the day, for me, my comedy is mostly things that make me laugh, hoping that other people laugh. So, like, even every time I perform, most of the times I am laughing. And you know how with comedy is that there's so many times where you do the joke 20, 30, 40 times, like 30, 40 times, and you're like done with it. I can do it 50 times and I still find it funny because I like it when people laugh, or if people laugh, I laugh. And it's this weird, how do I call it? Weird cocktail of emotions that happens. So yeah, that's the entire scene, to be honest. For me, comedy started off accidentally and now it's full time.
Okay. Well, I asked you that question because one of the pieces of writing of yours that still sticks with me is the article called Life's Stupidest Lemon for BuzzFeed that you wrote a few years
Oh
back,
shit. Yeah, yeah,
right? And for those of you who haven't read it, we can probably link it up later, where you talk about depression and you
yeah.
talk about it in a funny way but real way at the same point of time. And I guess that article is as relevant today as it was back then. How have you managed to balance out both? Is a lot of your comedy coming from the fact that you just want to rather laugh at things rather than getting pulled down by it?
So I'll tell you why comedy is awesome. Because comedy is like therapy. Like if you have a breakup, you can easily write a set about it. If you lose someone in your family, it will take time, but then you can write a set about it. Because talking about your emotions is way better than sitting with it. Writing is there, but when you talk and you have an audience and the best parts, right? Why does therapy work? Because you're talking about your emotions to someone who doesn't know you, and
Mm-hmm.
you pay them to listen. Why does comedy work? Because you're talking about your emotions to 40 people who don't know you and they are paying you. It's a win-win situation. Imagine getting paid to tell people your emotions. But like a lot of times, a lot of comedy. So, like what you see on YouTube are just jokes and bits, but there are a lot of times, a lot of personal stories come out, moments come out. And I think what has happened is off late, I have realized that I want to be a little more realistic with what I want to talk about. I don't want to just, like, obviously, there are stupid jokes I do about like spectacles and mosquitoes, but I also want to do jokes about what I feel. And like the latest set that I have written, it's a 20-minute set about my dog, and it has a very emotional angle where I actually talk about a lot of emotions that I'm going through right now, and it is therapeutic. Every time I do it, it is therapeutic, and it was fun because the last time I did it, I'm not even kidding, three people cried, and I'm like, don't cry, these are jokes. I think that's the beauty of what we do, right? You can weave a story, fill it with as many emotions as you can, and still end it on such a stupid joke that people are like, I don't know whether uh, this was worth it or no. But okay, so that's the entire that's the gist of everything.
Fair enough. And when you started doing comedy and then people started paying for it, and you were doing live shows and you were traveling all over the country and at some points even outside of the country. And now from that live stage, you are down to your online stage right now, which you've still kept going since like 2020 and, you know, and now 2021. So how has that affected you first? Tell me that. How has that affected you from going from a live audience and a live stage to now this?
So I'll answer both questions. It is my claim to fame for my own personal statistics. Nobody ever recognizes it, but I was the first person to do a digital comedy show in the country. I did it on the day of Janta curfew. I did it 1 hour before 5 o'clock, so that at 5 o'clock when the country claps, they also clap for me. That was my idea.
I did
People
not know
all around were
that.
clapping with plates, and I'm like, "Thank you, guys, thank you. You've been fantastic." And people were like, "What is wrong with him?" But it sucks. It really sucks. Comedy is a very personal thing, right? You need to listen to the people. You need to see the people. You feel the emotions. If there are 100 people laughing, you can ride that wave of emotions and continue doing things. And now you have nothing. Now you have Zoom. The people are not in front of you. The people you can't like. I actually, like, I remember mid lockdown, I was going to my therapist, and she was like, okay, seems like you're really missing out on what you used to do. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I really don't think so. But the day I did a live show, I'm not even kidding. The day I did a live show after what, 1 year of sitting at home, there was a point where I was literally kissing like I was every time the crowd would clap, I'm like, thank you so much. I missed you. Oh my God, thank you so much. Oh my God, oh my God, you're the best thing that has ever happened to me. And that feeling of having an audience, even though it's there on Zoom, uh, having that personal experience now, man, I don't think it will. There are things that happen in live shows that can never happen on a Zoom show and vice versa. Now I'll tell you, like I had done a show 2 years ago in Chennai where there was this girl who kept on looking at her phone and putting it into her purse. So I literally ran, grabbed her purse and hid it backstage. And it was crazy. It was the craziest thing ever, but that's what you can do when you're live because you have full control of the entire this thing around you. But yeah, so that's the I miss it. I just miss messing around with people. I miss talking to people after the show. I miss chit chatting. I miss everything about it.
And how is it affecting you as a comedian in terms of your work? I mean, th those are the experiences of doing a live show and doing a Zoom show and the things and the musty that you could do, right? But like now that, like even right now, right? Like this is sort of a show. I mean, I literally just walked out of the shower, sat here, and I'm ready. And this is gonna end, and it's over. And like as soon as you hit the X button, there is closed. So it
Yeah.
just is like, how has that affected you mentally? Does that affect your
Uh,
performance, your
it
material?
so a lot of things. What happened was I was having a discussion, I think, with Abish.
Hmm.
And I'm like, the thing is, what will happen is after this pandemic, I think a lot of us will obviously come back excited, but we'll also come back very calm because there's a lot that has happened. There's a lot that has happened in our lives also. Our performances have become much more calmer. We've become old in a pandemic. So, like, if you see my show childish behavior and if you see what I do right now, you'll see like a complete opposite of everything because right now the things I want to talk about are very, very different. The things that I want to discuss with people are very, very different. The things I want to do are very, very different. And honestly, like, I don't know, man. It's weird. You just turn on the camera and you're on for 1 hour and you put it off, and then you just go about doing everything. But it's been worse now that I've been home. It's been way worse. I dedicate days where I tell myself, like today. Today was a day where I told myself I'm going to do absolutely no work. I'm not going to force myself to work. I'm just going to start a TV show and watch it all day long. And if I feel guilty, I don't care. Today's my off day and I'm not doing anything. Um, because that's that's all you need. You need to have your days for yourself, because otherwise you'll just be swamped with everything.
And when it comes to making content, like I mean, like you had a curve through the last year where you were blank for a while when it started. You then started with your live shows, then reels happened, then you started getting on to reels, and a lot of new shows came on, so you started making fun of those, and kind of had the old Sahil back for a while. And then again, there was a like we flattened one curve that was your comedy instead of the other one. And then again, now you're back with the A show, Sahil a show, right? And well, a
Alive,
live
alive,
show.
alive.
Yeah, a live, good wordplay. And
Yeah, thank you. I'm
donated
very proud of myself.
40,000, you donated 40,000 from that show, the sales that happened, to make a difference and appreciate that a lot. Uh, how has that curve been going? Like, how do you switch in and out of your moods? I might say. I don't know what the
Um,
right word is.
See, I'll be honest, if if there have been days with mental health, you can't like specifically tell yourself today is going to be a good day and let it be a good day. You can't control. It's the same thing with any sickness, right? If you're sick, you can't be like, yeah, aaj I'm fresh, tomorrow I'm not. The thing is, what has happened with the pandemic is that it's not become days. Now it's become weeks and months of just, I don't want to do anything anymore. I regularly tell people if you're feeling a feeling like this, let it absorb you. Don't try to fight it. If you're feeling a feeling of, oh my God, I can't do this anymore, feel it. Feel it completely, cry, get it out of your system, and then pack up and do things. In terms of comedy, also, the entire creative process, and that's, I think, the conversation that we're having right now, the entire creative process takes a hit, right? If you're every day you're spending 1 hour every alternate hour on Twitter, scrolling, retweeting, sharing, posting. After a point, you're like, my God, this is just not stopping. This is just not stopping. You sit down, you're like, आज मैं joke लिखूंगा, and then you're like, how can I write a joke when there is so much happening around me, when people are dying, when people need help? Someone out there needs oxygen for their mother, and their mother's about to pass away. It's that bad a situation, and I'm sitting here complaining कि यार joke नहीं लिख रहा है, So I've become a lot less harsher with myself because right now is a tough time for everyone, and trying to be a bit more helpful because I think my role is comedian, but more than comedian, it's human. And I think me being a human transcends everything. If it is a dog adoption at this point of time, I will push for that more than my show. If it is oxygen, leads, anything, I will push for that more than my show. If it is giving back, donating, I will push for that more than my show. The show I'm doing day after tomorrow, also, all proceeds are going for charity. Along with that, I've also made a list of people like doctors and healthcare workers, as well as some people who are recovering from COVID. I'm sending them free tickets. Come for the show. I honestly don't think for me right now, I want to profit. You know what I mean to say? Like when I do a show, I don't want to think, hey, yeah, I'm getting 15,000, this will come to my bank account. No, I'd rather spread joy and make people laugh or, at least just help out more than I can. And I think that's the way you can get out of the dip the moment you feel like I wrote a note about it on my profile, and
Yep.
anyone who's watching, if you want to read it, please read it. And the whole gist of the note is that I've done nothing. I always do nothing. I constantly do nothing. But every time I share a lead or I help out, I know, okay, I'm at least doing something. And that's the core crux of it all. All of us are doing something, no matter how much we feel like we are doing nothing. And I think that's the only thing that can keep you going during this time. That's all.
Hmm. And referencing to that post, in fact, the nothing post, I was going to talk about it. You spoke about how you're feeling nothing. You're Yeah, about that post, right? About nothing. You were talking about how you were feeling a lot of things, but at the same time, nothing. And like, it's got a lot to do with empathy, right? Where we can feel other people's pains, feel other people's plights. And when that empathy gets overwhelming, sometimes it can be numbing. So is it getting to a point of little numbness right now?
See, the moment it gets numbing, I remind myself that I can't feel numb. When I'm sharing posts, and if I am feeling numb, I can only imagine what the doctors and like what the nurses and everyone who is looking for leads must be feeling. It scares me that I don't want to be in a place where one day I will have to put a Twitter lead saying, please help, I need SOS for my family. It scares me. And it got overwhelming. I'm not going to lie. It got overwhelming and I cried. I cried a lot because I'm like, I wish I could do more and I'm doing the best I can. But man, it does get overwhelming, man. Everything. See, that's what I would tell everybody who is watching. If it does get overwhelming, switch off. That's why I tell everybody, you are allowed to switch off. You should not feel guilty for switching off. You are allowed to, I don't know, disconnect. You are allowed to create. You're allowed to. I right now, literally right now, the moment while we are talking, I got a message on the top of my Instagram. Like literally a notification came, found a lead, comma, thank you. That's it. I'm happy. Big smile.
You did
That's
something.
it. My job today. We did something. That's all that matters. Whether I shared it or someone else shared it, we did something. So I think that's the only thing that pushes you, man. You keep creating, you keep working, but yeah,
And how often have you felt like you need to post something just so that you could put a smile on someone's face, even though you can't smile yourself? Do you do that ever?
yeah, that you have to keep doing.
Uh,
Uh, you have to, yeah, you have to keep doing stuff, man. You have to keep posting. You have to keep creating. See, when it does get too much, you don't care. Like there was a point of time last year where I was like, oh my God, Instagram reach is not this thing. Oh my God, Instagram reach. I will every day. I'll post a reel. I'll post this thing. This time I was like, dude, I don't give a damn. I don't care. My post, if I'm losing followers, I don't give a like fuck, dude. There's a pandemic going on. The last thing I care about is, oh, 30 followers unfollowed. Good for you, man. Unfollow, good for you. I don't care, man. There's bigger shit over here. I only wish that I had more followers. I swear to God, not for any brand deal or anything. I just wish that if I had more followers, my amplification could reach more people. That is it. If you want, give me 1 million. Let me amplify. After all of this is done, take it away. Take it away. Return to 130. I don't mind. Just let me push as much as I can right now. That's all I need.
and I mean, like you talked about the algorithm and the gram and the rules of posting every day and
Wait.
all of, sorry.
Sorry. No, sorry. I was just saying to everybody who is chit-chatting and all, hi, hello, hi, hello. Sorry, lots of
Yeah.
people are saying hi, hello, and I can't say hi back, but hi, hello to everybody. And sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, and there is that whole thing of, right, like the out of sight, out of mind, and it applies on the gram as much as it applies anywhere else in the industry right now. And we are part of it, be it comedians, be it content creators, be it fashion influencers. What do you think is right and wrong? I mean, there's still again polarities, and there is no right and wrong. But subjectively, what would be okay to post and what would be not okay to post?
I
That is,
I don't know, to be honest, I really don't know. I open Instagram Reels and I just see everyone is dancing. Everyone on Reels is dancing, by the way. And I'm like, okay, if you guys think this makes you feel better, amazing. I'm nobody to judge. And then a small part of me says, man, there is a pandemic going on. People are actually dying. And these people are sitting and dancing. I saw a reel where someone had put up COVID around the world. You know that backaches wala reel is there,
yeah,
na? The
that
bras too
back
tight.
aches, my breast too
And
tight.
then COVID in India, she's like dancing. And I'm like, that is so tone deaf. That is so tone deaf. And then I'm just like, you know what? I just, you know what? I forget it. Forget it. There's nothing I can do about it. Like people are down. There's this new trend. Like I keep on looking at reels just to see what is trending. There's this trend where people will like sneeze and then they'll talk about how they are on vacation. And I'm like, are you stupid? Read the room. Read the Read the room. But I think that's the thing with social media, right? It's bubbles. It depends on what bubble you want to be. If you want to be in the reality bubble, you will keep getting news, you will keep sharing news, and you will constantly be bombarded. Or you can be in the fictional bubble where it's a pandemic, it's affecting other people. I can still shoot some dancing reels. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? Con
I,
content is I had written this earlier. I was like, dude, no point making content if you're not content, right? It's as simple as that. You need to be content to make content. Some people can just ignore everything that's happening in the world, and that is their way of being content. I can't. I have to see what is happening, and it does affect me. So I make things that I feel like right now, rather than making things to. So honestly, right now, rather than making content that I think will work, or rather than making content that I think, should be made, I make what will make me laugh and I make what I want to say. I am writing a lot, putting out notes because that's what I feel. I'm creating stupid jokes and putting them out because I'm like, this makes me laugh. And if even if one person laughs, who's having a rough day. Okay, that's it. That's a job well done. See, I don't know how it works with other content, but in comedy it's very simple. You have to make people laugh, and I get messages. Like the first show I did, I got at least four people who said I have a friend or family member who's suffering from COVID, and thanks. I smiled, I laughed. So I'm like, good, great, thanks. I'm glad that I could help in that aspect. So yeah, I mean that's what content is all about right now. Just put things that you want to put and help out as much as you can. So you're doing the best of both worlds.
and on a lighter note, you told me that you watch reels and you're seeing what you're seeing. But other than that, what is your gram looking like right now? What do you land up consuming on your phone right now?
Honestly, I've just cut down. I open up Instagram, I go through my inbox, I see anyone messaging for leads, I post. That's it. There are two, three reels I've made or some sh posts I want to make, but honestly, I don't care right now. I really don't care. And like, I'll post something stupid, and then I'm like, okay, yaar, I'm not going to check comments or anything. Once in a while, I'll reply, but I've tried my level best to be stop being obsessed with social media right now because I feel the last thing right now that I should be worrying about is like, yeah, my reel got only 1,000 views. Bigger problems in the world right now.
Cutting down helps. What show are you watching
Now,
right now? Just an irrelevant question, but what shows are you watching right now on TV
so
and
I was watching
OTT?
Invincible. I was
Oh,
watching Invincible right now.
yes.
Yeah. I
What a
started it in the
show.
morning and I told myself today, whole day, I'm going to just watch a show. That's it. That's my day. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to bother with anything. I'm done.
Spoiler alert, the end is very gratifying. Just gonna leave it
Great.
at that.
Great. I will watch it. I, it's It's tough, man. It's tough for any content creator right now to create content. You can't because you obviously it's a tough environment. Like you can't do like, hey guys, I'm doing an unboxing of a mask. Like whoa. But just find pockets of time for yourself. That's all I would say. Just find pockets of time.
Yeah. Okay. From one P of pandemic, I'll go to the other one, which is politics. I'm not gonna go very much like deep diving into it, but before the COVID time, politics was a great source of material for comedy, and people would be called out for it. But as we entered the pandemic, there were a lot of legal notices sent around and violence incited, and like politics was almost like cut out from most comedians' platter. Some of you still choose to be a little vocal about it in a subtle rage, I would call it, is what I see on Instagram these days. And I mean, even commenting on a post like that gets me trolls, and I'm nobody compared to that. So, how do you deal with the fact that the lockdown became a lockdown on speech, on free speech almost?
To be honest, that will happen for a very long time. It's not like it did happen. It will keep happening. You have to maintain a balance of what you want to say. There are so many things that you want to say, but that you can't actually put them out. But there are things that you want to say. But the way we do it is we put out jokes, man. Jokes are our opinions from jokes. It's comedy. If you those who get it. Those who don't get it, it's a joke. Like I mean, seriously, you're going to you're going to attack me for a joke that I put out, which you will gladly because everyone has opinions. But when there is, see, right now we are in a time where it's very evident all our ministers have screwed up. And I'm not talking about any specific party, I'm talking about all parties. Every party is crooked, everyone in politics is crooked, everyone is screwing up. Honestly, right now, the only people who care about each other are us. We people are caring for each other. You go to Twitter, the only I had posted about it. Twitter used to be a place where everyone hated each other. Now it doesn't matter you're right wing or left wing. Anyone needs help, we will help you out. And it's so nice to see people being there for each other because clearly all our ministers, again I'm saying it, of all parties, don't give a damn. Everyone is trending thing. Just, you know what? The more I get into politics, the angrier I get. And that is, it makes me so angry when you see stupid things. I don't want to talk about it. I just say that the only way you can deal with it is by making jokes so that you can at least deflect it in a different way. That's it. Otherwise, everyone's a dick.
And okay, I'm gonna steer away from that. But what about the privilege that we have sitting at home in the comfort of our home right now? But at the same time, you have like this weird as gun pointed at our head that it could be us next. The way, like the first wave somehow didn't affect
Yeah.
us as closely as the second wave is coming to our house.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this privilege, which is almost on the verge? It's hanging on a thin thread right now. You are privileged today, tomorrow it could be your family affected. And
Yeah.
that was
Are you fine? Is everything good with you? Because I've never seen you like this. You seem very like I feel like you've created the series more, this could have been a personal WhatsApp call, not a live. You could have just called me and we could, because I feel that there is some deep-rooted issues that are coming out that you're trying to ask. Man, it can be anyone, yeah. It can be you, it can be a family, it can be relatives. It's not, you just keep thanking yourself every day, man. You thank yourself every day. You remind yourself of tiny things. You remind yourself that you have a house. You remind yourself that you have food. You remind yourself that you may have some savings. You remind yourself that I can breathe. I think right now, to be honest, when everything goes down, and for everyone who is watching, when every single thing feels like hell, just sit down and breathe and tell yourself that you can breathe. And that is the biggest privilege that all of us have, that we can breathe. Simple as that. But yeah, honestly, you can't answer that. I can't answer that. The only way you can combat it is by being grateful and helping out as much as you can so that see, like I said, two types of privilege one is where you acknowledge your privilege and you help out, and privilege number two is where you acknowledge your privilege by putting reels.
oh God. Okay,
I
so
hate I hate that it's come down to that. I hate that it's come down to, hey, you know what? You've built your community over so many years, but if you don't dance to music, I'm not going to let you grow. I hate that it's come down to that. And if this was a rant about Instagram, I would go on forever, but I don't want to get into it. But fuck, stop. Please stop.
Okay, you initially asked about how this show came out to be when this could have just been a WhatsApp call. Honestly, this is a conversation I've been having with a bunch of people around me over and over again because every time I look at the gram, I have questions when I see the content that's being posted. Like one side you have requirements of blood and plasma and oxygen, on the other side you have people dancing and some like glorified holiday photos. Like, I mean, I did a Joker cosplay. I posted from my holiday photos from a month back, which I took when things started to look a little normal. I started questioning things and I started wondering if there are more people like who are thinking the way I am thinking and are asking similar questions, which is why I chose to make this a series of talking to different creators to see what their point of view is. Maybe it just helps someone else out there.
See, the way I see it is the if you are doing your best to help, if you're doing your best to make a difference, then you can post a photo about yourself just to get that little dose of validation. If you are doing posting leads every day in the hopes that one person will message you saying, hey, I found a lead, thank you, and you feel better about yourself, then you're doing it wrong. You just post and you say, okay, if this helps, helps. If it doesn't help, I don't care. But if you are just posting content, like if you're like, oh, check out this bag I bought, and you don't give a damn and you're not sharing, you're not posting, I can't tell you to do it, but force people to. I posted like I'm like on one hand there's SOS, on the other hand there are these people living their lives. Both of them need help, and that's true. Both sides, both sides need help. You know, someone needs to sit down and be like, "Hi, your Maldives photo. Just, please, 2 minutes. Stop,
Hold on to
stop,
it.
just stop." So yeah, man, that's the whole scene.
Any message before we sign out for people who've probably lost someone and are watching this, wondering, figuring, because I know a few people who've lost someone, and um, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if we are the right people to give out a message, but since we are in this conversation of,
I I genuinely can't give a message. If you have lost someone, I am truly, truly sorry. All I can say is that right now, I know a lot of comics, a lot of comedians have stepped up. A lot of us are posting leads. A lot of us are doing our best to help out, but also make you smile. And that's all we can offer right now. There's not much we can offer. There is helplessness every day where we wish we could do more. And those who can are doing. Those who can are doing all that they can. Um, if you've lost someone, I I don't know what to say. I'm truly like I shouldn't be sorry. Everyone around you should be sorry. The system should be sorry. People in power should be sorry. You know, I can't be the one telling you sorry. All I can say is that I wish it didn't happen. Come sit. I'll give you a hug. I'm here to talk. And by the way, anyone who's watching, I'm here to talk. My DMs are open. And if you do want to just distract yourself and laugh, then come laugh with me. Let's forget about everything for an hour or so. So yeah, that's all.
and for anyone else
That's
who's
all.
just plain overwhelmed with anxiety right now,
Put your phone away. Just put it off. Go out or just stand or go to your building terrace. Look at the sky. Realize that we are all very small and insignificant, and there is a lot more right now than what is. I mean, just switch off. That's all I would say. Switch off. Allow yourself to switch off. You need to switch off before you reboot. Simple as that. For anyone, even if you're a content creator, switch off before you reboot. If you're a comedian, switch off before you reboot. If you're a healthcare worker, you can't switch off, but take your break and then reboot. And to everyone else, all I can say is that if you're feeling shit, just know you're not alone. If you're feeling anxious or lonely, you're not alone. And yeah, we are all lonely, but we are lonely together. So it's a good feeling. That's all.
And there are some questions right now on the this thing. I'm just gonna tap on it. 1 second.
Thanks, Javed.
Question.
Thanks, Vidya.
Yeah, thank you guys. There's a question by stall underscore 96 question regarding how can a creator or normal guys differentiate between fake news and real facts?
There are a ton of Twitter pages as well as websites. There's Boom Live, there is Alt News, a bunch of them that actually verify the information. A lot of times also, if you get like a news, always go through the person's profile. You can understand a lot more about where the news is coming from if you look at the past posts, whether that person is extreme right or extreme left. You can also wait for news sites to verify things before you actually share them. It is actually a very scary time right now, but always Google and you will find enough info to verify before you share things.
Okay, that's it, I guess. Thank you for tuning in.
You want to cry? Go cry. Please feel free to cry. As soon as the call gets done, cry. Rip it out, man. Get it out. It's great. I tell everyone, cry, please. I don't know why more people don't cry. It's beautiful. It's a
I
beautiful
agree.
feeling.
I absolutely
Yeah.
bloody agree.
Yeah, everyone. I put the Rona and Corona. Just keep crying, man.
Ah,
Keep crying and keep smiling. That's all.
cheers to that.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. And to everybody who's watching, just stay strong. And yeah, we'll get through this. That's all.
Have a good evening and thank you for signing in for this
Are,
edition of Coffee with
are.
Creators.
Don't worry. Thank you so
Great.
much. And I hope you're fine, success.
And please go watch Sahil's next live show. He's gonna proceed and give all of the revenue that comes from that to charity. And he's a funny comedian. I like his comedy. So
Thanks,
do
man.
go
Thanks a
ahead.
lot. Yeah.
See you
And I
later.
hope everything's good for you, man.
Yes, sir. Everything's good for me, and I
It will.
hope
Okay.
everything's well. And give luck to Bigil.
I will. Chal.
Bye.
Bye, buddy.
See you.